in the studio tonight has just been announced as one of the finalists for a prestigious UK Coaching Award. Ady Gray from Wetherby in the running for Children's Coach of the Year for his work teaching karate to the under-16s. Thank you ever so much for coming in, Ady. Nice to meet you. Firstly, congratulations. How big a surprise was it to be named as a finalist in these awards? Yeah,
it was an amazing surprise. I didn't even know about it until I think it was Tuesday when an email came. I didn't even have a clue what the email was about, so yeah, big surprise.
So I opened it up and went, what's all this about? The UK Coaching Awards are very prestigious, a big fancy do down in London. So take us back to the start of all of this. How long have you actually been coaching for now?
I started in Ripon, and it was probably about 23 years ago.
And what was it that got you into it in the first place?
Well, I started karate when I was 7, so I sort of joined, as a little boy in Gosport in Portsmouth area. So and I just sort of fell into teaching and started teaching, and also it just got bigger and bigger.
There's so many sports out there for kids to get into these days. So for you, when you were growing up, what was it about karate that particularly appealed to you?
I don't know. I think really it's just about you do it for you. So it's no team game, so there's nobody to blame. It's just if I did good, it was me, and if I did bad, it was me.
And was it something that your parents were quite happy to encourage?
First of all, it was my granddad. He was looking for a boxing club. He thought boxing would be the way I should go. So, but we couldn't find a boxing club in the area, so it was karate. But it was very small then. Karate was, a lot smaller compared to judo and stuff. So it's new to everybody.
And got into that, and was it something that you just fell in love with pretty quickly as a sport?
I've just always done it. Always done it. Since I was 7, I don't think I've had a break. I went into the army for a little while, and had a sort of few months off doing basic training, but then just straight back into training again.
And so it's gone from strength to strength. Presumably, to become a coach, then you have to have. I always just assume it's black belt, but that's very naive of me, I'm sure. What sort of level do you have to get to as a practitioner of karate to be able to teach it to other people?
There's no real sort of cut and dry, because some people can coach and some people can't. So I know some people are sort of quite senior grades who don't, really get the message of cross training. And I know some people are very sort of lower grades who are brilliant at coaching. So it depends really. But they should have a basic level of sort of black belt, and maybe been training for around about 8 years.
Okay,
really.
So what standard are you at then?
I'm 6th Dan now, so.
I know nothing really about martial arts. That sounds very impressive. So how much hard work does it take to get to 6th Dan level?
Yeah, it probably means that I'm just old. But
I'm sure that's not true.
Yeah, it's just, it's also, when you get to this level, it's not about just your own practical karate. It's about what you're putting into karate and, what you're producing, and the standard of students that you can produce. So there's a lot more sort of than just stand up, throwing a few punches and stuff.
Yeah. As you were working your way up then, did you always have an inkling that you might like to go into the coaching side of things?
No, not really. There wasn't really scope to be a full-time instructor. So, there wasn't many about, and I didn't really know of any. A couple of Japanese that were sort of full-time coaches, but it wasn't really a sort of trade that people were going to go into on purpose. But it's just you fell into it rather than, and popularity and obviously getting a lot of recommendations made me do it full-time rather than me pushing to go full-time. Yeah. So it sort of took me that way.
And you've gone from strength to strength with it, because now you're senior instructor and you own your own club as well. I would attempt to pronounce this, but I'm probably going to say it wrong. So I will ask you if you can tell us the name of the club that you set up.
So the association that we have is Byako, Shotokan Karate Association, and this is made up quite a few clubs. But Byako is White Tiger, and the name started originally from White Rose of Yorkshire, starting in Yorkshire, and the tiger is the emblem for Shotokan, which is the style of karate we do.
Great stuff. And how different is that? Because there's so many different forms of martial arts.
Shotokan style that we do is the biggest style.
Yeah.
You can go anywhere around the world and you'll always stumble across a Shotokan club, and it is probably the oldest form and a major form, so it is popular.
Big decision to set up on your own. How nerve-wracking was all that time when you were getting up and running?
Yeah, not really. Because again, it took you that way. Rather than you trying to force the issue and thinking, "Oh, I'm going to start a business and try and see whether it works." It was working. We had plenty of numbers, so it wasn't really it was a no-brainer really.
So it has clearly gone from strength to strength. You work with a lot of different age groups. I was reading before, so some really little ones, age 4 and upwards. So you separate them off, don't you? It's classes specifically for the sort of 4 and 5 year olds.
Yeah. I would never teach 4 and 5 years in a sort of older group. It's just no different to primary schools. They set up in a way of the ages that they can be developed. and you wouldn't really put a reception in year 1 into sort of class 2 way of
course.
learning. So 4 and 5 year olds go on their own, and then we have a 6 year olds plus, so we go up to 65 is the oldest, 69, sorry. Turned off of that, but 69, and we have a 4 and 5 year old group, so they're the youngest ones.
Yeah, so right through the ages.
Yeah.
How on earth do you go about teaching karate to 4 and 5 year olds?
Do you know what, they amaze you what they can do. You know, they amaze me what they can do. When I first started for 4 and 5 year olds, it wasn't an intention to go, you know, I want to teach this age group. I always thought to myself, I didn't want to water it down. You know, karate should be done properly.
Yeah.
But I did it, and I started for a little while, and you know, I was surprised what they can do, and I've learned loads from what they can do and what they can't do, and I learned, you know, things that they try and do, and they do so naturally and easily. There must be a reason why they do it so easily, so I can learn from them. But you get amazing results from what they can do, and some of our black belts have come from the Tigers, which is a 4 and 5 year olds class. So they've come through, and they've been sort of 10, 11 years old, done their black belt, been training for 5, 6 years.
Wow. How much of it for the little ones then is about teaching the skills? How much is it about discipline and that kind of thing?
I think it's both. I mean, if it's black and white and it's structured, the young ones they love it, you know. And when you say stop, they stop, and when you say go, they go, and they love that sort of side of it where it's really structured. But they're allowed to have their own characters as well, because I mean, the one thing you don't want to do is take away the characters from kids. You know, they need to develop themselves, and if it's taught properly, then everybody should be taught with you know, their own character.
So from the little ones right up to, as you say, late 60s. I understand that you also work with children who attend some of the specialist schools. So can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I've gone into Mowbray, which is in Bedale, and it's a specialist school, and it's got children for Down syndrome, to brain, sort of more issues, and behaviour problems. And it wasn't really meant for a school for behaviour, but they do deal with that now. And I've got in there and taught 6 weeks at sort of time, and then they've turned up at the club. So we've got a couple or a few now that have come from either council recommendation, or they've come via me teaching in this special school, and they come and they integrate with the others brilliantly, and it's great for the others to learn about them and them to learn about the others and be integrated in the same class rather than always separated.
Yeah.
You know, and they're brilliant.
I imagine a lot of it's to be good at the discipline as well is about kind of having respect for other people and people who are maybe a little bit different, you know, so right, to kind of bring them all together like that.
Yeah, and keep the hands to themselves, and you know, someone will let the hands wander, but you've got to sort of catch your imagination, and then you can sort of enforce the discipline of it, you know. And they just won't. They're amazing kids when they come in, but maybe they're not outside. I don't know. You know, when they're with me, they're great.
And that's all that matters at the end of the day. What's the most satisfying element of the coaching then that you do?
I think seeing them develop, but you know, whether you're producing somebody at a world level, you know, and getting a place in the world championships, or whether it's just a child who finds, you know, maybe academically they struggle, or you know, just seeing people develop, you know, seeing what they can offer from something that they do for themselves, rather than for just a reward. You know, that they work because they want to get better at something. Not just to get a sticker at the end of the day. They want to really do it for themselves.
Yeah, must be incredibly satisfying, and obviously you're still learning all the time as well. I'm sure. Website development too. You're into all of that kind of thing, so people can kind of develop themselves, bit of target setting and that kind of thing.
Well, we're trying to do sort of we do a lot of sort of with the higher sort of spec. We do the iPad, you know, coaching with the, you know, so they can play it back, slow it down. Look at sort of areas where they're strong or weak and calculations and stuff. So just to develop more of the higher sort of level ones, competitors are really.
It's all going on.
It's crazy.
So and as a result of all of this and all the hard work that you've put in, you have been nominated for this UK Coaching Award, Children's Coach of the Year. What would it mean to you to win it?
You're just surprised to get it, but when you've worked, I think, with children for 20 odd years, and you know, there is always positive feedback, and it's so I think just getting recognised for doing a good job, and you know, through the generations, and I'm teaching sort of children's kids now who I used to teach, and maybe even grand,
that's scary.
You know, and they still bring them to you because they went to you. So to see it sort of go on for the length of time, so it's not just been a flash in a pan. You know, it's been stood around for 20 odd years that you're doing things right, and to get recognised for it is really good. And I think, I don't know, just be amazing to get even into the finals. To win it would be just a bit different again.
It would be very well deserved. I take it all your students know then, and what's their reaction?
I don't know, I'm quite surprised. I don't really go out there, and I don't really try and sell myself, and you know, it's all about them and not me, and it's their results that make the club good. But a few of them are starting to hear about it now, and you know, I'm sure there'll be.
They'll be asking questions,
yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Look, if people would like to find out a bit more about the club and all the
Mm-hmm.
work that you do in the coaching, what's the best way of getting in touch with you to find out?
Well, through us, it's through the website. So we have a website which is thekaratedojo.co.uk, and our main place is based in Ripon. So we've got a purpose-built, you know, unit in Ripon, which is all matted and mirrored, and that's most of the classes. But we also have classes in Boston Spa, Firsk, Boroughbridge. I know we have quite a few down in London. Obviously, I don't teach them ones.
No, a bit far to commute for those ones.
Yeah.
Well, look, best of luck with it all. It's coming up, isn't it? End of November,
Yeah,
is it?
30th of November.
Big fancy do.
Yeah,
So is it
yeah.
a black tie job
Yeah,
ready and raring to go?
Yeah.
Excellent stuff. Well, good luck. You are in very prestigious company, because looking at some of the other Yorkshire coaches who are going to be involved with this as well. Malcolm Brown, MBE, who's nominated for a Lifetime Achievement Award for all his work. He's coached in triathlon with Alistair and Johnny Brownlee, and then loads of other local coaches as well. So should be a good do.
It's a good experience. You know, whatever happens.
I'm sure it will be. Well, look, it's a real pleasure to meet you, Ady. Thank you so much for coming in and telling us a bit more about it, and let us know how it goes on the night, won't you? Lovely to meet you. Ady Gray, my special studio guest on West Yorkshire Sport this evening, telling us about his